What's up, guys? This is DizzyPW. I'm down in the Snail Games office in Santa Monica, finally my hometown for once, and we are checking out Black Gold online. It's been a while. I don't think we've covered this since E3, and there's a lot of changes to it, and for once, you guys are actually going to get to play it for yourselves in just a couple of days. So make sure to check out the description below for information on our giveaway, and let's get you guys introduced to our audience. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Johnny Lau. I'm a senior content lead and marketing manager for Snail Games.
Hi guys, and I'm Kevin Doyle, and I'm a marketing associate and community manager at Snail Games.
All right, so for the people that just haven't heard of this game, give us a quick rundown. What is Black Gold? What are you guys doing different that no other MMORPG is doing right now?
Well, so Black Gold is essentially a big, large-scale PvP MMORPG. So it's a game that pits the players on two factions that are at war. On the one side, we have the Irlander Union, who is a kingdom of fantasy and magic and mythical beast people, and on the other side we have the Kingdom of Eisenhorst, which is a society of steampunk technology and industrial expansion. And so players join this kind of clashing world in a series of large-scale conflicts, both out in the open world, in organized battlefields, on foot, and in personal carriers. And so we've got a lot of different things that we're pretty excited about to bring into the MMORPG industry.
And so today we're going to be checking out a little bit more of the organized action you're talking about. So what are the main points that people are really fighting about on the mass, like 100-man level in this game?
So one feature that we're really happy about for Black Gold Online is the system of energy wells, which are these persistent areas of territory that can be captured by guilds along the map. So there are these, in terms of the game, there are these reservoirs of black gold, which is the precious resource that the factions are fighting over. And players can organize themselves into large-scale battles where they fight hundreds of players at a time for control of these energy wells that give them special perks for their team. So there's faction wars where the two sides are fighting each other. And there's also guild wars where guilds within a single faction can then fight for control of these energy wells. So it's a really cool player-driven component of the game.
And then on that concept, is there any type of balance inside of the game that you can tell us about in terms of, like, can people just bring whatever vehicles they own into these massive battles, or how do they actually unlock the stronger vehicles to dominate in these fights?
When you dominate an energy well, you actually get exclusive content, exclusive crafters, and exclusive manuals that you can get. You can get a higher level vehicle, and you can also build your own vehicle. So actually, when you're fighting the energy well battles, you can bring either your own vehicles or the vehicles from the energy well. The balancing, actually, it's more surrounded the 5 different types of the vehicles. So we have anti-air, assault, raid. Each one is a countering type to the other. So the balancing is done really well. We have defensive structures. You have siege weapons. So the energy well battles it actually depends on player skill and maneuvering. Yep.
And can you tell me a little bit about what these different types of vehicles are? What can people expect from a siege versus an anti-air in this game? And tell me about both factions' variety of it.
Yeah, so the personal carrier system, as Johnny mentioned a little bit, is it's basically customizable as we move up, but each faction has their own distinct types of carriers. So on the Kingdom of Eisenhorst, they have these giant, we call them battle vehicles. They're these mechanized walkers or rollers, and they have lots of different abilities. So for example, a raid, which is very fast and high speed, there's kind of running types, and they have abilities that are more geared towards fighting off people on foot or NPCs, whereas you might see a siege, which is a heavy kind of rolling tank that has heavy armor, very slow, long cooldown abilities, but are very explosive and strong against defensive structures. And so there are parallel systems between the two factions. So on the one side, we have battle vehicles, and on the other side, we have war beasts. So we have these huge, some of them look like rhinoceroses or giant walking spiders or flying dragons and all kinds of really cool things that basically players can decide which side they want to enter the battlefield on and fight for control.
Nice. All right, I'm sure you organized guild leaders out there are going to be super stoked to hear about this. But for the more like lone wolf PKers, let's talk about some of the features you've got in here. I know a lot of people out there, they hear alliance system, they're like, oh, I only get to kill these people, I'm going to be bound to these rules. Can you tell us about, for the true outlaws out there, what they can do to set themselves apart and make a infamous name for themselves?
Okay, Black Gold Online is a very hardcore PvP system where I have lots of freedom, player freedom, and you can actually turn on slaughter mode, and you can kill people of your same faction. So there won't be a horror alliance. You can kill people from the same city, just press a button, but you have repercussions. Each time you slaughter or kill a friendly player, you get a certain criminal value, and as that builds up, then the NPC will not talk to you. It'll be hunted down by the guards, and players will, acting as constables, will hunt you down, and you will ultimately end up in a jail if you're not careful.
And can you tell me a little bit about the hidden dungeons and the interesting loot system you have planned?
Absolutely. So in addition to all the different features, open world and organized instances and battlefields, we also have something we call Chambers of Greed, which are these basically hidden open world dungeons that anybody can enter at any time. So inside these Chambers of Greed, you'll find NPCs and bosses with high-level loot drops, just like other instances. But in addition, as Johnny just mentioned, the consequences for killing members of your own faction, there are no consequences. It's pretty much an all-out free-for-all. So once you enter the Chamber of Greed, basically greed rules. So you can kill each other, steal each other's loot, and it's pretty much all bets are off.
Nice. And then let's talk about scheduling. The 15th is going to be the first time that you guys are really opening up to a large number of public players. What are people going to get to experience? What are you going to have the game limited to at this time?
Well, we have 4 races available. You'll have the dwarves, the steam humans, the fantasy humans, and the kosh. And we have 12 classes, and we also have 3 crossover classes. So players from each side can experience 3 unique classes from the other faction as well. So we have the Gunslinger is back in action. We have the Beastmaster. We have a lot of summoning classes, and we have all the carriers available in the beta. And energy wells are up. Chambers of Greed. All the fun stuffs are up.
All right. Well, enough talking about it. Let's get into game and try this out. All right, guys, we're in game now. I don't have a whole lot of time, so I'm going to jump right into the character creation here, and then if there's still time left, I'll check out some of the vehicles. So right here, we're checking out the Eisenhorst versus the Irlandir factions, which are supposedly the magic versus technological factions. But I'm noticing if you switch between the Utonian and these other races here, you can actually access pretty much any class on either side. I guess that's mostly going to be done for a PvP balance, even though it's pretty strange thinking about having an occultist fighting for the technological side of this war, or having, like a gunslinger on the Irlandir side. Other than that, though, it's kind of nice. Like, you can play most of the classes with most of the races, and I've only seen one example that I can think of a gender-specific class, and that's right here with the occultist. From what I've seen, they also do a pretty good job of explaining what you need to know about these classes before selecting them. You'll see their defense and offense on the side, their continuity, which is how well they can level up, their supporting, there's control, which is CC. When you're actually making it, they've got some pretty strange defaults you can check out. But once you get past or find a good default you want to base it off of, you can do some really intensive tweaking. I'm talking like Dragon's Prophet style tweaking with just facial movement, body changes. There's a lot of sliders to play with. You could spend a lot of time doing it. There's the camera is pretty nice as well. It gives you like the automatic zoom for what you need to see when you're viewing it. And then there's a really nifty randomize button if you just want to give it a couple of spins of the dice and see what you come up with. But let's skip ahead and jump into some vehicle action. All right, I'm chilling on my Irlandir aerial mount here, checking out one of the big energy wells they're talking about. So these energy wells, if you didn't know, are these massive persistent places inside of the game that are kind of the core of your empire's wealth. You're going to be using the resources that they give you to unlock special dungeons, special NPCs, and all kinds of wild things like that. And they're going to have a weekly 100-man battle. I should have asked while I was there. I don't know if it's 100 versus 100 or 50 versus 50, but you're basically going to select the best people on your server to represent you and fight over these things. And right now they're giving me a little bit of a demonstration of, on a smaller scale, what that's like. So we've got some Eisenhorst guys up here, well, girls technically, that have some pretty sweet vehicles, but they've got me set up with the advantage. So, like they said earlier, there's 3 types of vehicles in this game. There's raid vehicles, which are like anti-personnel, really fast, really good at destroying unmounted vehicle, or not really good at destroying people that are just running on the ground. They've got the aerials, which are pretty good at countering a lot of the ground vehicles. Then they have anti-air vehicles, which are ideal for sniping people like me out of the sky. And you can see this little red target on there is kind of telling me that I'm super effective against the person I'm targeting. Beyond that, they've got siege vehicles, which are good for taking out the heavily fortified parts of a base. So if you're trying to like actually take over the energy wells, you're going to have to try and protect them and move them across. I'm assuming they're pretty slow. And then after that, you've got assault vehicles, which are really good at taking out other vehicles, but not so much at anything else. They're supposed to be tanky and a bit slower, but have a lot of stacking powers that'll just really eat away at large amounts of HP over time if something's not good at dodging their attacks. And you get a whole new skill bar and whole new resource bars when you're actually piloting these things. So I've got this little AoE attack here. I've got basically an auto attack that's got a cooldown bar, so I can't shoot it all the time. I've got a little jump to dodge. You can actually get out of the way of projectiles in this game. So it's not, I wouldn't say it's 100% action based, but it feels pretty close to it. And beyond that, you can keep a bunch of vehicles with you at once and summon them and desummon them anytime you want. If you do have to take care of these vehicles though, so if they get destroyed, you might have to repair them, and you can I heard that you can actually summon a vehicle that's been destroyed, but if they cut it down, after you summon it again before its cooldown repair is finished, then it's permanently destroyed and you lose any of the upgrades and modifications you made to it. So you have to watch out for that. One thing I'm going to mention that I didn't get a chance to, I found out about after I cut off the filming on the character creator, is there's a lot of really subtle customization you can got him. There's a lot of subtle customization you can do in this game, including actually choosing the different hues and saturation of the colors of your character. Oh, this is a nice little cage. And sweet. I'm going to have to use that one when the servers go live. There's a lot of things you can do with the colors of your character, and I even found that there was 16 different irises that you can choose from when making your original character. Now, I don't think there's going to be too many people that ever pay close enough attention to your character that would matter a lot, but it just shows that they're really putting in an extra level of effort into trying to make this game stand out. Between the classes being so unique, the vehicle system being so unique, they're really trying to push. And I have to say, as a PKer, I love the fact that you can attack people in your own faction. That's just a really cool system. So it looks like I'm going to have to wrap this up now. Definitely check this game out. I hope you guys watching this were lucky enough to snag a closed beta key. I know that we're going to be sending James in on Thursday to start up his first look video, so if you can find him and kill him, you might get to show off your character on our MMOHuts channel. Or you can just catch him on our new Twitch channel every Friday between 11 a.m. and 5 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. It's a lot of fun. We usually end up playing a lot of different games with our viewers, and it's just a really chill, cool experience that I look forward to every Friday. But until then, this is DizzyPW from MMOHuts, signing out.